I mean, it's like the scoreboard tells you everything. So the concept of high performance or performance-based type business is you measure everything. And this is indicative of the problems that we face in our industry. A lot of times when contractors guess that the product that they're going to install is going to solve the problem, it doesn't.
David, you have an additional idea that you train on, and I want to come to you for this, that I think is worthy of every bit of attention, because in addition to, Ruth's three principles there, three good practices, you teach a performance based process, correct?
Yep.
And tell us a little bit about what that means, and can you give an example of that and how that might actually help somebody at this day and age, or thinking about, the I or the R times coming?
Sure. So the concept of what we call high performance or performance-based type of approach is you measure everything, right? So you go to the baseball game, you can come in halfway through the game, and the first thing you do when you walk in the stadium is you look up to what? You look to the scoreboard, right? You figure out, where am I? And once you understand where you are in the game, you know how much adrenaline you need to fire up, right? You need how much chopping you need to do if you're watching the Braves. I mean, it's like the scoreboard tells you everything. So the concept of high performance or performance-based type business is you measure everything, right? And so from Ruth's perspective on the finances, you know what's going on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annual basis, because you're measuring regularly. And in fact, she's got a really cool little process that if a contractor just learns how to do this 15 months or 15 minutes every month, they will not lose money anymore, because they'll be paying attention to the measurements. Well, the whole idea of performance-based or high performance contracting is that you measure everything. And when you measure, you're not guessing anymore, right? So the concept of measurement, like if I was to walk into a home, and this is indicative of the problems that we face in our industry. A lot of times when contractors guess that the product that they're going to install is going to solve the problem, it doesn't. Well, because they've put something into the system that doesn't solve the problem. Let's go ahead and let's use the IAQ angle. I go in with the fanciest, high tech, high efficiency air cleaner in the world, and I insert that into my duct system. Now, what if the source of dust was a pressure imbalance in the house, and that constant pressure imbalance is sucking dust into the house every minute that that fan is operating? What good is your high tech air cleaner, Rob? Is it solving the problem?
Yeah. Well, it's all a mystery, isn't it? It won't.
It's not a mystery at all. It's not gonna fix it, right? The bad part is that's where people say, yeah, I tried a high efficiency filter. It doesn't work.
Doesn't
It
work. Yep.
actually made things worse.
Yep.
What? What do you mean it made it worse? Well, that's because they weren't applying the product properly, because they weren't measuring. If you don't know the pressure balance within the space that you're trying to condition, whether that be with clean air or humidified air, dehumidified air, cold air, warm air, doesn't matter. Whatever that structure is, if that structure is not properly set up for the HVAC system and vice versa, you can create negative pressure situations that cause constant problems that no amount of air cleaner, no amount of air purification is ever going to solve it, until I suck all the dust out of the construction, right? And until I get all the insulation sucked out of the attic, we're still going to have dust problems in the home. So what we teach from NCI's perspective, and I wholeheartedly believe it, we did it in my dad's business back in the 90s before NCI even existed. We learned it through a different channel back then. And my dad being a mechanical engineer, I mean, he understood it on a commercial side, and we just started applying some of the stuff we were doing commercially to residential. And it's like, man, this is a real big differentiator. You've used that word a couple of times, Rob, and I think it's appropriate. We went in and we said, you know what, if we don't measure, we are just guessing. If we don't know what the pressure, like there's a nice little tag on most furnaces and air handlers that says maximum total external static pressure, and it's got a number. Okay, if I don't know the number, I don't know enough about the question, right? When I'm talking to mechanical stuff. So it has a number, and if I measure how it's actually operating as installed, and I see that the number that it's supposed to operate at is not what it's operating at, then I have to ask myself a question, why? What do I need to do to fix that? Well, unfortunately, if you don't measure, you just say, yeah, it's running, and you
Yep.
walk away.
You'll never